Which brings us now to a Saturday staple, one of my favorite episodes. And
I love it.
Convince me.
I love it. Hometown, it's
He's going right for the book.
homeschool right
He
now
went
with
right
the
for
book
the
cover. Homeschool.
He went right. I'm sorry.
You
it's
were
not,
homeschooled,
It's not
right?
leather bound like those books at the Mitchell
I know,
house.
but you was homeschooled, right?
Yeah, no.
This is biased. I've already told you.
I went to school on the street.
Yeah.
I've already told you I don't test well. So
Well,
Test
this
well.
may not be the segment for you.
His teacher graduated from the 5th grade and taught him.
Easy. I'm a product of the Cleveland Public Schools.
there you go.
This is about people, places, trends in the league. The guys try to convince me that their point of view is indeed the correct one. And it's going to start with a very simple question, Sam. Convince me the Bulls are fixable. After a tumultuous week, after
Go ahead, big boy.
finger-pointing, after being fragmented
Have
and
fun.
losing as well. Can you put that back together again?
I'm going to say, trying to convince you, everybody in that organization, from players to management, got to check their egos out the door. They got to understand they're all part of the problem. And if it's going to be fixed, they all have to be part of the solution. And the only way it's going to get done is it's got to be an open and honest conversation. Some feelings are going to have to be hurt. But I don't know if I can convince you, Vince, because it's just too much, man.
Well, how was it? Convincing, Vince?
No.
So you
can't
say no.
convince
You think
myself.
it's just broken?
Yeah,
Okay.
I do.
What say you, Rex? Do you think they can
Well,
somehow find
I'm
a common ground?
taking the opposite view. I said last night, I've known Rajon since he's a 6th grader. And the one thing about him, if you embarrass him, he's done. He's done with you. And he was embarrassed now, not that he hasn't brought a lot of it on himself. He was embarrassed in Dallas. He went to Sacramento, had a decent year last year on a bad team. And now he's gone here, and he's put on the bench again, a championship kind of guy. And Rajon can play. Let's don't fool ourselves. He can really play. He's moody. He's all that. But once you've embarrassed Rajon, he's done. And he may be saying he's not done. Mentally, though, I know the guy.
So what are you saying? You're saying they could be fixed?
No.
They cannot.
They cannot be fixed.
And that, of course,
not
is
as
correct.
they're constituted now.
That's of course correct. They're fragmented.
It's too much in the
I don't know if we can.
Just too much. And then
Humpty Dumpty broken.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then when your best player, who was backed up by Dwayne Wade, an all-star, comes out and he's trying to motivate the players, whether it was the right thing to do or not, he felt like they didn't support him. They fined him, they put him on the bench, and look what happened. 1 for 13, disengaged in the game, not there mentally.
Yeah.
It was just bad.
Look, I will say this: winning cures a lot. If they can somehow pull this thing together and get on the same, it's not completely hopelessly lost. But right now,
You don't
I'm
have any
leaning with
trust.
you guys. It's not.
No trust.
So we're going to split that.
I
point.
think the Knicks are as funky as almost a team can be. But right now, I take the Knicks dysfunction
Chicago,
over
absolutely.
Chicago's
Yes.
dysfunction.
Wow, that says a lot. Actually.
Yes.
All right, we split the point, as I said. So let's move on now. Rex Chapman, convince me, bigger all-star snub. Is it Dame Lillard, Joel Embiid, or other?
I believe it's other. And I'm going to be accused of being a homer here. But Karl Anthony Towns deserved to be in the big show. He really did. I mean, this kid is doing it. When he got to Kentucky 2 years ago, he couldn't shoot a little right-handed, left shoulder jump hook. And look at him now. I mean, they got him in the league. They didn't know he could shoot the ball like he can. What Karl Anthony Towns has is a special mind. He's got a special mind, and that sets him apart. He's got all the physical tools. I played a charity softball game with him this summer, and he was hitting a softball out of a minor league ballpark some 400 feet.
Watch him hit a golf ball.
I'm telling you.
Incredible.
He's a special kid. The only reason I'm not going crazy over it is because I love Marc Gasol, and I think he's an all-star.
So I was going to say, if you put him on the roster, then who has to come off the roster?
That's why I'm not
for the
going
West?
crazy about it. But
Who has to come off the roster if it's going to be him? Can you take one of those guys? DeAndre Jordan's a first-time All-Star in the West. He's had a great first half.
No, I would be jumping up and down.
Okay.
But Marc Gasol is very deserving, and I think all the West are deserving.
All right, Sammy. He says cat.
Look, I'm always going to be biased towards Karl Anthony Towns, so I'm going to exclude myself from that conversation because I'm really biased. But when I look at Joel Embiid and Damian Lillard, look, I love Joel Embiid. He is an all-star. He has talent, but he hasn't played enough. Limited minutes, not back-to-back. And think about it. When he's playing in some of these games, he's the freshest player on the court. Look, he can't help that he was hurt, but he hasn't played enough. All-star talent, but when you look at Damian Lillard, should have been on the team last year, could have had a case for him this year, even though they're not winning. He's still putting up good numbers. Last year was his best opportunity. So I would say a guy like Damon, because he shows up every night, he plays every night, and people don't understand. When you have to go out and score 25 to 30 every night at 6-1 to give your team a chance to win, that is a lot of pressure, and it takes a lot out of you.
It does. I was voted by the coaches one year in 1994, and I got hurt that afternoon and was replaced that quick. And guess what year it was? The year that Michael Jordan went to play baseball.
Yeah.
I had my opportunity.
Yeah.
He came back. Opportunity was gone.
That's a nice anecdote to share.
Yeah.
Who comes off the roster if it's Dame? Oh, here's where it's always tricky.
That's the toughest thing. But you know, look, it's not about who comes off. It's about the guys that I thought should have been put on in the beginning. And so it's tough. Karl-Anthony Towns, look, just as deserving to be an all-star. You know, I'm just not going to say Joel Embiid. He just haven't played.
Well, I am saying it, Sammy. I'm saying it, and I'm still on the Embiid train. Last time we talked, I was on that train. If you don't think this guy belongs in an all-star, he's not controlling rotations.
You take Towns or Embiid.
He is the most. Well, he's in the other.
No, who do you take though?
But this guy's pure entertainment every time he's on the floor,
Yes.
and he could have a minutes restriction in the all-star
But Vince,
game.
think about something. Like Rex, he had one opportunity to be an all-star.
Yeah.
All right. Some of these guys are not going to be all-stars year in and year out.
Lillard,
Exactly.
Stephen Curry is in his thing.
Think about
Chris
it.
Paul is in
man.
his.
Damian got bumped last year because of Kobe. Now, let's be honest. Kobe was not. I understand why he was on the All-Star team. Absolutely, and he should have been there. But Damian Lillard should have been there. So now you're looking at it. He's not on the All-Star team this year. Who knows what happens next year? And before you know it, Damian Lillard would have been a great player. He may go into the Hall of Fame one day and never be an all-star.
Derek Harper never made an all-star team. Rod Strickland never made an all-star team. These are guys who are really good players.
Well, I'm sorry, I can't award a point there because I'm staying with my original stance.
But give the point to yourself.
To the process.
With this old homemade
point to the process. That's all right.
Give it to the homemade.
That's all right.
This is rigged.
Hey, this is going to be light reading for you later. Moving on. Convince me that which team currently, Sam, that we see in the playoff picture, do you least trust down the stretch? Somebody that might let you down if you put some money on them.
Chicago Bulls. I mean, early in the season, everybody was excited. They were shooting the three. They was playing with pace. Seemed like everyone was getting along. The ball was moving. All of a sudden, the Chicago Bulls, all their problems have come to the surface right now. They're not defended. They're not sharing the basketball. These guys don't like each other. And so when you look at Milwaukee and Detroit and some of the teams that are behind them, look, it's just too much. When you walk on the floor, I got to trust you. I got to know you're going to have my back on the defensive end. You're going to help me. I got to know that you're looking to make that extra pass on time, on target. And if you watched that game last night, they don't like each other. You got the young guys on one side, you got the veteran guys on the other side, and you got Rondo somewhere in the middle. And if you're Jimmy Butler and Dwayne Wade, you're saying, wait a minute. When you were benched, we came to your defense. And now when we step up and talk about these young guys, you're on their side. So that relationship never going to be repaired again.
What did D. Wade say last night when asked by the media, hey?
They can do whatever they want.
Who can?
The organization.
They can.
They can.
Not
so
we.
When you say that, he's excluding himself from the conversation.
He is.
Yeah.
Chicago's a good answer, Rex.
I'm going to go out west, and I'm going to go with the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Interesting.
I'm a big fan. I'll pay to watch Russell Westbrook play every night. That man's averaging a triple-double. Enes Kanter, though, is a big loss. It's a big loss, and here's why. Russell needs the ball in his hands, but Enes is the one guy on their team. Russell has to spoon-feed Adams, right? To a degree, a couple other guys, Roberson.
Yeah.
Enes, you can throw that ball into him on the block and say, go get me a bucket, big fella. And now, he's not a great defender. He's not even a good defender. But he leaves a giant hole for them if he's going to be out the next 2 months. And I just think Russell's going to have to shoulder so much of the load it's going to wear him out.
Well, those are good answers, but I feel like Russell Westbrook would take all those guys, if they couldn't even walk and move, he would drag them across the finish
But you know
line.
what, Vince, to his point, no matter how great you are, there are moments in the game when you're tired and you need somebody to make a play.
That's true.
Just one play.
That's
just
true.
to give you that one play off. Yeah. And in this kind of, Russ could just come down and throw it to him on the block, and he could get a good shot because he's that gifted
offensive player.
Yeah, no question. That's a huge hit
and you need that
for the team. But I go back to Chicago because this looks
the
like
whole
a
team.
problem.
Yeah.
That could be one that could, this could really be a mess by the time the season is over. So, Sam, you're up 1.5 to 0.5. But we have one more question remaining, and it's this. In light of the Enes Kanter injury, Rex, convince me that you have a player also, either somebody you played with or somebody who's in the league, that has a similar or worse self-inflicted wound than this one, the broken arm.
This isn't, this one is on myself. I don't have any problem joking about myself. I was near the end of my career, 10, 11 years in, and got on the bus. I stepped up on the bus. Danny Ainge is our coach. I stepped up on the bus. Danny's sitting right there. I stepped up on the bus, sneezed, and went, achoo, ah, and pulled my hamstring and was out. And before I could even finish saying, Danny was in the floor crying, laughing, and missed 2 games because of it.
The sneeze hamstring.
Yeah, he used to tell me, you need to get taped when you get a cold so you don't sneeze and turn your ankles.
Got buzzed on that.
What?
Wow.
Come on. That says the judges.
If I can remember correctly, when I was playing for the Pacers, George McLeod, we had a phone in the players' lounge. He was on the phone talking for like an hour with his legs
crossed.
Feet fell asleep, right? Stood up, put his foot down, fractured his foot because his foot went numb and he didn't feel it. And once his once the blood circulation came back,
hurt like crazy.
was hurting like crazy, and no one believed it at first.
Yeah,
no one believed
I'm
it.
sure.
That's how you broke your foot. But he walked into the building fine, and then he walks out to practice, and he was limping. True story.
That's great.
Sammy, well
That's
done.
Great.
You win that point.
I got to give it to him.
You win it 2.5 to 0.5.
You mean tell me
Very
somebody
good.
finally beat a Kentucky guy?
System's rigged. System's
What?
rigged.
Oh, my God.
Rigged.
All I heard last night was, where'd that guy go to school? Kentucky.
You'll hear it tonight, too.
Oh, yeah.
You'll hear it.
Thank you very much, Book. It came in handy in this one. We're going to try to upgrade. I told you when I get some of that Area 21 money, maybe I'll be able to get a book cover. I don't know. We'll be back with more